But what we lack in proximity, we make up for in film study. And each and every week, we'll be bringing you in depth film breakdowns from across the pond and the Sooner State. Welcome to On the Shane page. I'm your host, Shane Haff. You can follow me on Twitter at ShaneHaffNFL. And I'm joined by BGN's own film guru, Jonny Page. Give him a follow on Twitter at JohnnyPage9. Jonny, how are you doing this evening?
Yes, I am well. I am old enough, Shane, to remember the fans commenting on my BGN articles and commenting here saying we were too negative because the Eagles kept winning. Um, I mean, that is sort of our job. That's what I'm asked to do for BGN. I'm asked to analyse what I can see. And I remember it a couple of weeks ago, someone commented like, feel like these offensive articles are quite negative. We're winning every week. And I replied, like, I get it. Like, if you don't want to know about this stuff, by all means, watch it. If I felt it was sustainable, don't think we would have been negative, but I think anyone who's watched the Eagles, especially since the bye week, they saw this coming. Don't think the Bears are that good of a team, if I'm honest. I think we made them look exceptionally good. But yeah, as I said, we saw this coming. Since the bye week, 15 points, 21 points, 16 points, 10 points. And sometimes you can be negative about the offense, and there are reasons why. But yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I was talking about it on Birds at the Roundtable last night. If you just look since the bye, the Eagles have scored an average of 15 and a half points per game, and they've only played one offense or one defense that's in the top 15 in the
Yeah,
NFL.
haven't played good teams. They've played bad defenses, Bears, Cowboys. Yeah, but there you go. There you go.
So yeah, it's been everything that I was afraid it was going to be when the Eagles were winning, and it just hasn't. Nothing's changed, and we'll
Yeah.
talk about it. We'll talk about some of the things we think need to change, and I refuse. I still feel like so many of the changes are so simple. Like you could, and we'll get into it, but you could do some cool stuff in the run game that would make your pass game fine. You could make some small incremental changes in the pass game that even if the run game doesn't get better, your offense would be better. Like there's a lot of things, and it seems so simple to me that I'm going to continue to hold out hope, but that is still fading. So we'll talk about it. A couple of comments here. Brett Eclipse says that Spotify told him he has 4,000 hours on Spotify listening this year, which is awesome. I don't think we've put out 4,000
Not
hours of
all of us.
content, so
Not all of us.
I'm assuming it's not all us, but he does say that he's watched 88 Pin Pull Network videos on YouTube. So there we go. Yakko wants to know if he's in time for the live crash out or if the anger's already been worked through. GGN says, what's up? We're going to get into it all, and we're going to try something a little different this week. I was telling Jonny off air that I just kind of enjoyed the conversational nature of the episode last week instead of like the pre-planned 3 points. And so we're going to try to just sort of talk about things we saw in the film, and we'll pull up clips as we go along, but it's going to be a little less like packaged and pre-planned, hopefully, and a little more free-flowing conversation. So I don't know how that's going to go, but it went fine last week. So we're going to try and do it a second time this week and see how that works out. So you guys can let us know what you think, what sort of format you prefer. I will say it is really nice for me not trying to pigeonhole myself into 3 points, but
That's basically the problem, is that we pigeonhole ourselves too much.
yeah.
Yeah.
So let's
Should
jump
we
in
start?
and offense or defense, Jonny?
Let's do offense. I feel like this would be the easiest defensive game to break down. I reckon we could do it in 10 minutes. I have nothing to say about the pass D in this game, like anything, and the run D sucked. So offense, as it quite often is, I would say, is the more interesting. Can we do something different? Can we start with the running game?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I've said this for a while, and I know people are probably bored of me saying it, but I still maintain the pass game can be simple, and I'm okay with that if you have a good running game. Do you think it's a coincidence the Eagles ran one QB draw for like 20 yards, and the very next snap the Bears went single high, and they threw it deep to AJ Brown? Because I'm not sure it is. I'm not sure it is. So I don't know if you saw this on Twitter, but I'm trying to find it on my phone. I tweeted every Saquon Barkley run from this week. And I don't know if you've actually got it on Twitter. I should have told you in advance.
Yeah, I can pull it up.
But long story short, every single carry was a zone run. There was about one, two, three, four, five, 6 carries of outside zone and 6 carries of inside zone and 1 split zone. It is the most basic running game ever. And why do you think it is? Like, what is happening? Even a few weeks ago, they were running like a bit more counter. They just don't do anything. And this may not be perfect. I just noted it down as I was watching it, but I'm pretty sure it's sort of true. I can't explain it. I really can't.
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And I mean, we'll get there when we get to the defense, but it's just night and day difference watching the Bears run game and the bind that they had Eagles linebackers in, and that they had the defensive line in, and the safeties. I mean, one play they're under center running a jet sweep, and the next play it's a jet motion, but it's split zone the other direction. And then the next snap, you get jet motion and a play fake bootleg, and you throw to the motion. And guys just had no idea what to do. And it's not just under center. Like, they had wham blocks out of shotgun runs. They had all kinds of different things that didn't involve even Caleb Williams keeping the ball, which is something we know Hurts can do. And so much of it, to me, too, is that not only is the Eagles' run game static, but their personnel is making it very predictable. Like, I tweeted this one out, but Grant Calcaterra was on the field for 12 plays in this game, and 10 of them were passes.
Runs.
Right?
You mean runs?
Or sorry, yeah, 10 of them were runs. And one of them, I think, was a QB sneak, so we'll exclude that one. 8 of the other 9, the Eagles ran away from him. And the one that they ran to him, it was 2 tight ends on the same side, and they pulled 2 offensive linemen that way. But, like, you just look at this, like, we can talk about the regression of the offensive line, and this is pistol, 12 personnel. You've got Calcaterra at the right. And we can talk about how not Lane Johnson. I wish Lane Johnson was out there. We could talk about how Jordan Mailata gets beat on the left here. And so, I mean, we'll watch that. He just gets beat, and the Varenne has to get forced up. But watch the Bears' defensive line. And this is all over the film. This is just the first time in the game that I saw it. Watch them all jump to the left of the screen at the snap. And they do that. They're slanting hard because they know the Eagles aren't running behind Grant Calcaterra. And yet the Eagles continue to insist on putting Grant Calcaterra on the field for rundowns. And it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I cannot think of any actual good explanation. And, you know, Grant Calcaterra can't block. We know that. And so presumably you would say, like, okay, he must be on the field because they use him as a receiver, and you can't just put him out there on pass plays. But Grant Calcaterra has like 8 receiving yards, I think, in the last I put this out. I think it was like the last 8 games or something like that. And so I don't get it. I just don't get it. And
No,
if they would get
thing.
Calcaterra off the field, it could potentially make your run game better just by taking him off. Put Cameron Latu on there, or just go 11 personnel. I don't know.
So I've got a couple of things. I don't like judging coaches by press conferences because we know they all lie. We know Sirianni's a player's coach. But his answer on Calcaterra was laughable. Like, if you've not read his response, he's like, we have lots of faith. And it's just like, he can't do it. Like, we're not idiots. Like, fans aren't idiots. I mean, some are, but the majority are not. All you have to do is watch the game, and all you have to do, all right, don't watch the game. Just check PFF's run blocking score if you want. Don't even watch the game. Every single metric, every single film guy, every single guy on Twitter is saying the same thing. And I don't know if it is arrogance or they're just not very clever. Like, but you haven't got to be that clever to see it. I will defend the Eagles in one way, and this is just a thought I've had of late. Obviously, this year I've been doing lots of preview stuff that I've never done before, and it gives me a nice chance to see other teams. I will say, I think nearly every single team I've watched has a significantly better run blocking unit outside of the offensive line than the Eagles. I think when they've built this roster, I think Howie is underestimated. For a run blocking team, they are really bad at run blocking. I count A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith in that. Devontae tries, but he's tiny. A.J. Brown gives it a go. Jahan Dotson can't block. Dallas Goedert has been appalling as a blocker. I'm more angry at Dallas Goedert than Grant Calcaterra because I know Goedert can block, and I don't want to say lack of effort, do I say lack of effort? I heard someone on the BGN comments this week commented saying they think he's playing for a weirdly protecting his body for a contract. And I was like, well, his contract's not going to look very big.
Yeah.
Because if the Eagles stop scheming in red zone passes, he does nothing else well this year. And I really don't think he's played well. Calcaterra can't block. They gave them Granson as their third tight end, who they kept on the roster. He can't block. Like, why they didn't keep someone like a Harrison Bryant or a Jack Stoll. Outside of the offensive line, they have got nothing. And I will just say, I'm not defending the coaches here, but I think it's worth saying that, like, they've got so little outside of the 5 offensive linemen who can block. There's just sort of why they've not just gone more like empty QB run game. I don't know. But yeah, it's been a problem. It's been a problem.
And so with the Calcaterra thing, he's played 122 snaps in the last 5 games, and he has 8 receiving yards. So like, just put Cameron Latu out there. And
yeah, it's madness.
Speaking specifically of Nick Sirianni in the presser, talking about him being responsible for the defensive end, and Nick Sirianni's response was something about how, well, they rushed a nickel and they stunted this guy inside, and that would just be a tough block for anybody. Just watch how little the nickel impacts the block that Grant Calcaterra is asked to make here. Like, obviously, the D end is slanting hard because they know you're running away from Calcaterra. The nickel has absolutely no bearing on this play whatsoever. And Calcaterra can't seal that off to give a cutback lane. And I'm not mad at Calcaterra. I mean, I said this on Birds of the Roundtable last night, but if you judge a fish by its ability to fly, that's on you, not the fish. And the Eagles just continue to ask Grant Calcaterra to do something he absolutely can't do. And it's just a microcosm of what's wrong with the offense. Grant Calcaterra is not why the Eagles offense stinks. The way the Eagles are using him is a really good example of why the offense stinks.
Yeah, and I don't really know what else to say about the run game. I will just, I guess, end with this. I put this in the BGN article. Watching the Bears run, I don't know, I was going to say English, like, but whatever you'd call it. I don't know. I guess we can have the QB run game chat, but it has to be a bigger thing, doesn't it? It simply has to. The QB run game would help a lot of problems. If they don't want him to run, I don't know what to say. But the QB run game would help a lot of this stuff. So maybe they'll eventually just realize that there's no point keeping Hurts healthy for a playoff game they're not going to win. And if they bring back the QB run game, I don't mind the zone running stuff as much. Because if you bring back QB run game, that's sort of the whole point. But yeah.
Yeah, I just messaged you this, but GGN commented it here. Is your door closed, Johnny? Because you're lagging out pretty hard here on the live portion. And you're frozen again. You still there? Okay. Hopefully we get Johnny back. Having some issues there with the internet. I'll be able to edit this out again, so those of you watching this later or listening later won't have any idea what I'm talking about right now, hopefully. But anyways, let's keep rolling here. And something else I wanted to talk about is just well, I want to give one more example of just ways that the Eagles' offense is sort of schemed out to fail. And so let me see if I can find the play here. Here it is. Johnny, are you back now? You seem to be on the screen.
I have no idea. My internet is unusually slow, so I'm trying to see if I can improve it. I might need to come in and out if it's a problem.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll wait and see.
Okay. Well, I'll ask this to the chat or rhetorically then, since this is ongoing. But chat, do you know what the Bears' most common defensive coverage is? It's cover 1. And we get the Eagles in a play here in the third quarter. and they're going to run a little swing pass to Saquon Barkley. So they're going to swing him out. They're going to try to get some blocking on the edge, get him out in space. The problem is the Bears are running their most common coverage, cover one man. So they have a linebacker chasing him, and the numbers just aren't there. And so Hurts has to come off of it. But what he has to come off of it to on the backside is a little slant flat route combination that also doesn't work against cover one man because you have a hole defender sitting right in the middle of the field. Like, I mean, you could run double slant and the first slant takes him out of the way. Like, that might work. But the Eagles run a play that has a front side read that doesn't really work against cover one man. And maybe you would say Hurts should just throw this and let Barkley try to make a guy miss. And maybe you could have an argument there. But on the backside, if the front side's not there, you also go to another play that has no chance against cover one man. And again, this isn't just like some tricky thing the Bears did because they never run cover one man. It's their most frequent coverage. And the Eagles call a play that's dead in the water on both sides. So Yakko asks why I asked the chat a question, only give 2 seconds to respond. Well, it's bad to have dead air. I just meant in your head more than anything. But so there's examples like this. There's the things with Calcaterra. And then you also get into just some of the situational calls that the Eagles ran that just don't make sense. Like, there were multiple times in this game. Here's a good example that it's 3rd and 3 and the Bears are in dime. So they're playing remarkably light in dime. There's no second level defenders and the A gap is wide open. I mean, if you go to the back view on this play, look at this. Like, how do you not check into a run right here and exploit this massive opening in the middle of the field when you only need 3 yards? And the Eagles just didn't do it. And so there's so much of the details in the offense that just is not working. And I mean, we can maybe get into some of the good stuff too and some of the throwing middle of the field after the game is over. But I just thought time and time again, the offense was ill-prepared and put in disadvantageous situations, much like has been the whole season, I feel like. So, Jonny, any thoughts on any of that or something else you want to discuss offense-wise?
At the moment, I'm going tech man. I don't know why my internet's so slow. So apologies if I crash. I listened to that very well, and the cover one bit you did was really, really good, by the way. I sort of didn't notice that until you put out the clip, the plays they ran. I feel like about the pass game in this game, I think we need to have a talk about middle of the field throws. Someone commented earlier on about this. I think this is the talking point. I think when they were behind, they started opening the playbook up, and I understand that people could say like it's because they were winning and the Bears were playing like very weak coverage. But if you watch play 14 of my film, Fred Shane, which you may have shown, and you can comment on if I crash as well, this is not just because the Bears are playing like soft coverage. Event. All right, they're playing cover 2. All right, they're playing cover 2. There's 2 very clear high safeties. I get it. But this is a high level throw. Like, that's not from the back angle. You see it as well. Forget like what the down distance is. Forget if they're playing very obvious cover 2. It's just a really good ball. And for those of you that haven't seen, I went on a bit of a tirade tweeting. I mean, pocket-wise as well, Shane. The way he steps up and moves his arm out of the way to avoid the rusher is so high level. And it wasn't a good Hurts game. But look at that. That is... He throws it behind AJ on purpose as well. I think it's one of Hurts' best throws, honestly, of all time. And, like, to tell me that you can't access the middle of the field more, I don't believe it anymore. I went on a bit of a tirade about the numbers. I looked at the numbers. His intermediate stuff has been brilliant. He's top 5 in PFF grade, like the last 4 years on intermediate throws, whatever you think of PFF grades. His numbers are very good. To me, they need to start doing this more, and they need to not just do it when they're to support this. I don't know if you saw the number, Shane, that I tweeted about the decline in his throw percentage to the middle of the field. It's the lowest this year it's ever been. I put out a fancy graph on Twitter for anyone that's interested. If that's the case, you can't tell me it's on Hurts because he has done it better every year of his career, or he's done it more every year of his career. And I think he's obviously got better as a quarterback. So I think the offense needs to start running some more of this stuff. I think they need to open up a bit more. And I think at this point now, we have to just that we can do it and stop saying it's because Hertz can't do it. Because I don't believe that can be true anymore because he is significantly lower this year than he's ever been. He was the highest he's been since his first couple of years as well.
Yeah, I would also point out that the Eagles, even on this throw, do him no favors. Like, this is cover two, and there's just nothing else threatening the middle of the field. And so he has to weave this through two linebackers and a safety. Like, imagine instead of breaking out into a cornerback in the flat by Devontae Smith, imagine he runs like a post route or something to pull this linebacker with him and create a bigger throwing window. So like the Eagles are doing him no favors. But yeah, that one was a great throw. He had another one to the middle of the field on the last drive. There's like a minute left in the game at this point, and this was another good throw. Anticipation, right? Throwing it to the bottom of the screen to A.J. Brown, who wins inside despite the cornerback having inside leverage, makes a great throw. And I mean, it's a great catch by A.J. Brown. Like you can kind of see it from the back view. Like he puts that, like that's a very low probability completion, but he puts it in a place where only his guy could get it, and AJ goes and gets it. And so I think that's something you're going to have to do. You're going to have to open that up. You need to throw over the middle of the field. You need to stop being so concerned about turning the ball over. And I really do think that's a lot of what it comes down to.
Yeah, that last one in particular is one that I'm like, okay, the Bears are playing passive. Like, I will accept that. I would accept that as an argument. But I think at some point, like, if they're not going to use motion loads, they're not going to be really creative. They've already got these plays in the playbook because we know they can run them. Just high-low stuff. Like, I think they need to start doing it more, basically. You do a Hertz pass game review, and people can watch that on Patreon if they remember, where you get into a bit more detail. Every week I say there's some good stuff. It's just not consistently good. And if you can't run the ball, then it's going to be hard to throw the ball as well, the way this offense is structured. So I am of the minority. I know people don't like it. I think fixing the run game is the bigger issue, which is why I wanted to start with it this week. Do you want to talk very briefly about RPOs as well? I don't know if you have any of them lined up. I have play one of my film, Fred, and obviously play 3 as well. So I think people have it in their minds that using RPOs more is like a step backwards, and that Hertz is over this and we're too good for this and we used to do this and now we're better. If you want to improve the run game, stop running into bad run looks. If you want to stop running into bad run looks, run loads of RPOs. So when you're like this, 5-man front, 3 in the box, 8 in the box total, just throw it. I am now at the opinion where I am okay going back to more RPOs, and I think I'm happy if we see this being a bigger part of the offense. And people might say it's regression and Hertz. We thought we got over this, and the Dolphins doesn't work anymore for RPOs and whatever. They're really hard to stop if you do them efficiently. The reason why the Eagles have gone off them is because they keep getting eligible man downfield. And as long as they can time it up right and stop doing that, I think hitting the middle of the field, running some more basic RPOs is a very easy way of improving the pass game without completely redesigning it, because we know it's not being redesigned this year. We know the hit routes aren't going to stop. Like, let's just be honest. Let's talk about what we can actually see improve. I think RPOs and middle of the field are two things that are already in the playbook. We know they can already do. We've seen it this year, and I think I would start to lean on this because they're not going to suddenly redesign the entire pass game this week.
Yeah, and the thing with that is you have to execute at a high level, and you also, even in the RPOs, you just can't be predictable, because the Eagles tried to run that same RPO they ran at the start of the game. The exact same thing, opposite side, but they motioned Devontae Smith over, right? They're going to try to throw that little stick route to A.J. Brown. They tried to run that in the fourth quarter, but the Bears had already seen that look. And so on this particular one, you get the defensive end crashes down hard and really collapses the running lane, but the safety just didn't move and is right there in that window. So they had to hand it off into a not very good look. And so there's still a bit of that. Like, you're allowing the defense to dictate, but that's where if you also have an option to pull and run here, like, you've got to be, if you're going to run the RPOs, I do think you need to be willing to run your quarterback. You need to have multiple types of RPOs, multiple different looks, or multiple things that look the same, I guess, but have different changeups, different options you can go to, because defenses will start to key on that. And it is harder to run block when you're running the RPOs. But there's a way that you can use those more effectively and more frequently, I think. So, and as Brett Eclipse says, watch the Eagles never run a single RPO again after this.
Wow.
Certainly possible.
We did it versus the Broncos and then just stopped doing it. And by the way, it wasn't just, I should have said this, I think I made too much of a thing about middle of the field throws. That graph you showed earlier on was not just middle of the field. I'm talking intermediate in general. In this game, he had a wonderful intermediate out throw as well. And he used to do them all the time. So I should have made that clearer. Sorry, I'm not just talking middle of the field. They are ignoring the intermediate area of the field. It's basically short or long. And his numbers in the intermediate area have been really, really good. You'll notice we've not spoken the third down. For anyone watching, I would just say check our Twitters, check my... We've seen it now. It's on Hard Knocks. It's just not a Hurts miss. It's a miscommunication. And Kurt Warner, just go and watch his video. It's brilliant. He blames the coaching staff for not being attentive to details. And this is something we've hit on all season long. So yeah, if you are watching, not to be lazy, why are you not covering the third down? I feel like everyone's covered it by now. Just go and watch Kurt Warner's video, or go and look on your Twitter, or read my BGN article. Any
Johnny's
of those three, and I think we all share the same opinions.
Johnny's like, read my BGN article or watch Kurt Warner, and doesn't even mention my video, but whatever.
I said you as well, and I'd actually like to say, shout out me, I called it a miscommunication. I called it a miscommunication live. Everyone was tweeting like, what a terrible throw. And I was like, I know you guys keep saying I defend Hurts, but that's not a bad throw. It was so obvious to me anyway. He was lined up to go somewhere else. He very rarely misses by that much. So I was just like, straight away live, I was like, I don't see it. And yeah.
I that's one where by the time I finished watching the film, I saw Devontae Smith sit down on a hitch 2 other times when he was the hot answer. And I just realized, like, yeah, that's what he expected Smith to do there. Now, I don't like that. I think that's the worst of the 3 possible options is to sit down. And I go into that all in my video. I'd rather see you breaking out.
Also, can I tell you my hot take when it comes to receiver QB errors?
Yeah.
I always are on the side of the QB. And by the way, that's not because it's Hurts, Devontae, AJ. It could be anyone. I normally just think a QB has like an overall understanding of concepts better than a receiver does because it's basically their job every play. So I'm always tending to agree that the QB is seeing it the right way. I don't know if you've seen the Aaron Rodgers drama this week as well. He basically just came out and killed all his wide receivers. But I believe he's probably right. Like, it's probably the case that he is running it the right way. And my guess is Devontae made the mistake there. But again, I'm not saying he did. We will never know. It's just I tend to err on the side of the QB personally.
Yeah. So anything else you want to mention offensively before we flip over to the defensive side of the ball?
Yeah, I prefer doing it this way, by the way, except for my useless internet, which I don't know what it's doing. I prefer doing it this way. Spacing, just very quickly, very minor point. Spacing sucks on way too many plays. They're calling plays that could work without, and the spacing's wrong. 2-point play 16 on my film thread that you may have seen. I don't want to go into real depth in it because we spent too long. We need to get onto the defense. But just Dallas Goedert's route, it's just a simple slant flat. It's all the Eagles are running. They get clear press man coverage and they run slant flat, which should win to AJ Brown 98% of the time. But they decide to put Dallas Goedert right in the window. And that's the kind of stuff that I can't for the life of me understand. Like, is it because, I don't know how the Eagles build plays out. Do they call like 2 concepts on different sides of the field? And Dallas Goedert's like, they just sort of forgot about him, just like run a hitch. Like, why would you ever have 3 to one side? I just don't get it. And is that because it's meant to be a QB draw? So Goddard's just there to distract because the offensive lines think it is? Like, I don't know. And by the way, Goddard doesn't even look for the ball as well.
Yeah,
he has
Goddard
no
is
interest
thoroughly
in catching
convinced it's a
run
play.
Yeah. So maybe it's just a miscommunication. By the way, I also think Hurts does really well when Barkley doesn't sit down, and it could have been completed anyway if Barkley had realised that it wasn't going, but I just don't know. The spacing was really bad in another clip on AJ Brown over the middle of the field. The pass game is so frustrating. I think the reason why it frustrates us both so much is because I feel like it should be better this is the one, by very, very minor tweaks. I don't think I'm not anyway. I'm not asking for a total revamp of the pass game. I think we're past that. I'm just saying do what you're doing now. Just do it better. Like, oh, by the way, this is a good clip, by the way. Fran Duffy is already done. No, sorry, this is a different play. Is this the one where he throws AJ Brown in the shallow?
No, this is the one
No,
where
it's
they
not.
try to run
It's
mesh, and the two routes are 4 yards apart.
Yeah, it's bad. There was another one that he threw to AJ Brown. I don't know if you've got when they ran like a dagger, and Fran Duffy did a good job breaking it down. And just how the timing of the QB's drop doesn't match the concept. And I don't know if this is because A, they're planning it bad, or B, every route to Jahan Dotson takes 15 seconds longer because the man cannot get off the line of scrimmage. I'm not sure what the problem is there, but I said this in my BJ article as well. The Eagles need to thoroughly rethink how they do wide receiver 3 next year.
Yes.
We'll see what happens to AJ Brown. I assume Devontae Smith will be here. I want a dog. I want a blocking, big guy, physical, red zone threat. And then I want a wide receiver 4 who runs down the field extremely fast. Because their profile of receiver room doesn't work. And considering they should have gone into the year thinking we want to run the ball, the profile of wide receiver 3 makes the Dotson trade even worse. And I fully admit I got that wrong. When we watched him, we said his film this year isn't great. But we sort of ignored it and thought, let's look at his rookie film. But I said in the BGN article, he's not a good blocker. And every year I underestimate the importance of blocking wide receivers. And look around the good offenses in the league. They have good blocking tight ends and good blocking receivers. And that is me done for the pass game.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, Johnny, you don't know football. You just like football. So
yeah, I know.
I don't.
We never
name
drop people.
Seriously.
We never name drop people, but I did name drop him because Stephen Reeves posted like the stupidest tweet. And yeah, shout out Dennis. Still hasn't apologized. So I'll keep raising it until he does. Just, if you enjoy sports, just be nice to other people who enjoy sports. I hate to break it to you, even ex-players don't know everything, because unless you're in the QB room, no one ever will know everything. So try not to pretend everything. Especially don't try and pick on other people for just ridiculous reasons like where they go to school or where they work or something. I don't know.
Yeah. So, all right. With all that said, shall we flip over to the defensive side now?
Yeah, I'll be honest. I have nothing to say about the pass defense, like at all. So do you want to get the pass defense out of the way? Because there was about 1 million defensive snaps this week, and I found myself watching them very briefly and just seeing Caleb Williams look a bit rubbish and miss a few throws, and the Bears just not really needing to throw. So do you want to start with pass defense, and you can tell me what you think? Because my pass defense notes are Sidney Brown sucks. The pass rush was okay-ish. And I don't know what else you want me to say.
I didn't even honestly think the pass rush was that good. But
no,
Brown,
it wasn't.
Brown was really bad in coverage. And so...
I thought Jalix Hunt was good.
Yes, Jalix Hunt had the best game on the defensive line, I think. I'll show a couple of plays from Brown. I fully expect Marcus Epps to be the starter at safety on Monday night, as long as he's healthy. But just watch Sidney Brown at the top of the screen here in coverage. Like, where's he going? I don't even... That's his guy. You should not be getting beat that badly. And fortunately for him, Nolan Smith pressures Caleb Williams, who just misses the throw. But and really, it's just a bad job by Caleb, because he's open here, and you could literally lob this with 5 seconds of hang time, and it would get there, and he just misses it. But that wasn't the only one. There were several bad plays by Sidney Brown. He had one, and this gets into run D, but he had one where he just was like juked out of his shorts. I was trying to find, I had another, here it is. This is another bad one at the goal line by Sidney Brown. Just like, that's terrible. Caleb misses the throw again. Caleb Williams was really bad in this game, by the way, I thought. And
Ben Johnson called him out.
Yeah.
As well. I will just say, Fangio, oh goodness, how do I say this nicely? Fangio is obviously exceptionally good. He's the best coach on the Eagles. I think you'd have to say. But I think there are a couple of weaknesses that I've noticed the last couple of years. And last year, at times, it can get bad in that he doesn't really help out his dudes that much. Like on that snap, you got Sidney Brown in man coverage on Roma Dunze. Like, yes, he is burned badly, but he's like, what do you expect? Like, don't do it. And yeah, the touchdown I'm putting on Sidney Brown. I don't know about you, but
yeah, I think
I honestly don't know. Again, it's one of the ones where I'm going to say I don't know.
I am pretty
we
certain.
can sit here and yeah, you think it's Sidney?
Yeah, I'm pretty certain this is Sidney Brown's guy. But also, Reed Blankenship's in a position to help
he was bad.
as the middle field safety if he doesn't bite so hard on play action. So like
most of the team was bad.
This is one of those where like I'm pretty sure this is Brown, but I'm also pretty sure Reed Blankenship should have been there to help.
And by the way, Fangio's run defense also sucked in this game. It wasn't just pass. Can we do it? Let's talk run D. Anything else on pass D? I genuinely have nothing.
I'm trying to think. I
said Jalix Hunt was good. Was that it?
Yeah. Oh, no, this is...
Yeah, that's a beautiful rep, isn't
Cooper
it? I remember
DeJean
this. I was going to tweet this, but I was too negative this week to say anything positive.
Yeah, I wanted to point this one out because he's playing outside, which you said he can't do.
Outside, yep.
And
hey, hang on a minute.
He takes the dig route from outside leverage. Look at that. That's beautiful stuff.
He's so wide out there. He's really wide. Covering a deep in, you'd never do that in the slot. Covering a dagger in the middle of the field. What a rarity.
Yeah. He also had a really smart play that I was going to point out where I'm pretty sure the Eagles are like zero blitzing here.
Wait, sorry, was that a smart play? Is that what you call it, instincts then? Yeah, would you say it's good instincts?
So. Yeah, I think there's zero blitzing here. And
where's he lined up when he's got good instincts? Just wanted to check. Where's he lined up with his good instincts?
In the slot. Actually, in the box.
Just checking.
So the Eagles are doing it. They've dialed up a zero blitz here. And Cooper DeJean recognizes the running back is going out, which means they've got two free runners, but nobody's on the running back. Like we saw the Eagles do that a few weeks ago where they just slipped Saquon out and he was wide open. And he throttles down and chases the running back, which is the only outlet Caleb has for the ball. And there's still a free rusher. And so I thought that was a really heads-up play by Cooper DeJean. But honestly, overall, I just don't really want to see DeJean blitz, like, ever. Because although that was a good play, it just takes too much away from your coverage to blitz one of your best coverage players. Who, like, here, he's just so late rushing and so slow. It doesn't really impact anything. So to me, I think you've got two linebackers that are both exceptional blitzers. I just really don't want to see Cooper DeJean blitz. But I did think that was one really heads-up play when he was blitzing and he leaked back out on the running back.
Right, that's it. Run game. Let's do it. I'm not talking about anything else.
All right. You got 7 minutes.
Question. Percentage split. Eagles bad or Bears good in terms of thought of the run game this week?
I'm going like 75% Bears good. I think as the game goes on, it 55. Compounds. Okay. I think as the game goes on, it compounds, and you really see their linebackers start to question themselves and react slowly. But I would say a lot of that is...
If you just watch this game, would you think the Kobe Dean is the worst linebacker you've ever seen playing in the NFL?
Maybe. No, because I remember watching some of the old linebackers. But yeah, it was a really rough game for Dean.
Who was the man? Who was the guy we had who couldn't run? Was it Shaq?
Nate Gary.
Oh yeah, it was Shaq Leonard, wasn't it? That was the one.
Oh yeah, last year.
Oh, that film was like watching me out there. I think it was worse. I'm gonna. Could I come off the Fangio a little bit? How do you want to do this? This is the good thing about not preparing. 30% tired as hell. Excuse. I'm saying it. Excuse. One of the reasons why they played so many snaps in this game was because they sucked on defense. I'm just going to say it. I know the offense is bad. I get it. But they were bad at the start of the game. You can't tell me you're fatigued on like the first and second possession. And also, I'm going to say it again. If you are fatigued, stop playing Jalen Carter like 95% of the reps. And
they did in this game.
Give him a little bit of a break. Did they actually? I thought he played a ridiculously high amount this week as well.
He was actually... I thought he was off the field quite a bit. He played...
I may be wrong then.
He played... he played 61 snaps, but that was out of 87. So he played about
How many of
Two-thirds
them
the
when the game
snaps.
was? I guess the game wasn't fully lost. So yeah. All right, fair enough. Um, do you have like a clip of all of the runs, or do you want to just use my thread? Because my thread, like the first five, are all their biggest runs.
Yeah, we can use
Just
your
talk
thread.
through briefly. Yeah, if you want to just talk through the main plays. So the Bears' run game was the Eagles' run defense. I thought was terrible. That's sort of how I would describe it, and I thought absolutely wrecked them. Many of you have seen these plays before, so we won't go into great detail. But DJ Moore holding the edge there. That didn't help with backside runs in this game. Jalen Carter on some of these rounds, it's bad. They had a real issue. It's just really good scheme, but it's also really bad defense.
Yeah, look how far Jalen Carter gets pushed on this play. Like, he starts with his hand on the ground inside the 23-yard line, and just watch where he ends up. And this is supposed to be the stud on your defensive line. Like, he started right here, and he ends
man,
up way out here. Like,
yeah.
he's 1, 2,
My
3,
internet's
4.
not going to let me talk Randy, is it?
Maybe not. He's 5 yards pushed off the line and all the way
Doesn't
across
want me.
the other hash.
Yeah. So you've got like DJ Moore motion, but still the gap's too big. But what annoyed me, Shane, was that they didn't adjust at all. So if I die here, you're in charge of all the run game. They just didn't adjust. They got beat in very similar ways. Like this one's obviously that's the same one. Not the same one, is it?
Oh yeah, it was. I thought you were
I
wanting
thought
to
the
talk
second
about
one was
that
the
one.
Wham one, but I might
Here
be
we
wrong.
go. Or you... All right, Jonny might be gone, so I'll pick up here and hopefully he'll come back in again. I thought this was something really cool that they did too, like motioning the tight end in and then using him to wham block Moro Ojimo. It gets him a double team on Jalen Carter. It gets you a lineman to the second level, and just look at the gap there. I mean, like Moro Ojimo's there, but he's falling down because of the wham block. Sidney Brown, that's the Sidney Brown run play I was thinking of earlier, where he comes downhill. I don't know where Reed Blankenship's going. Sidney Brown just gets juked out of his shorts. It was bad at every level. But are you back now, Jonny?
I mean, I believe I may be, but I've done any of the show looking at my speed. I just need to reboot the whole thing, which I can't do mid-show.
All right. Well, do you want to say anything else on that one, or should
So
I
I'm
go to the
here
next
for as
one?
long as I'm here. Yeah, you keep flying for them, and if I can comment, I'll try and make on it. The one thing I really wanted to say, well, I didn't think we adjusted at all, and once I know Fangio doesn't do it, but when you're getting 280, having the Kobe Dean out there every play and not giving another guy a chance, like I can't believe we never play a DR's run on you. You can't. That's the thing that let me down.
Yeah, and also like you're just getting gashed, and you have a first round pick at linebacker on the bench, so you can play Byron Young 38 snaps as a third defensive tackle. And like, look at Byron. Well, I'm going to point out two things on this play. First of all, let's look at Byron Young and how far he gets moved by a single block. Like, he's just not a playable defensive tackle. And so I would have liked to have seen you. Maybe you just go to two defensive tackles and you put Jahad Campbell on the field. Maybe you play Brandon Graham more than 6 snaps and you kick him inside. Like, I don't know. I mean, that's 4 defensive tackles here. Like, put Brandon Graham where Moro Ojimo is and kick everybody down a little bit. Get Byron Young off the field. But also, what is Jalen Carter doing here? He's like jumping to the outside like he thinks it might be a bootleg when he's not even the edge defender. And so
what is Jalen Carter doing in 9?
Yeah, I heard like
this game.
2 words there. Yeah, there's a lot of reps where I just don't understand what Jalen Carter was doing. I was trying to find. There's another one where he just kind of seems like he freelances and takes himself out of a play, and it's like he jumped to the outside to grab a hold of a defensive tackle, or not an offensive tackle, and that didn't really make sense to me. But yeah, this is the play. It's another goal line play, and instead of hitting this hole and like attacking this puller, he like jumps out at the offensive tackle and just takes himself out of the play. And so I thought Carter was really bad in this game. Every aspect of the run defense was just terrible. And there was a lot of an element of Nakobe Dean he's so good usually getting downhill. And he just didn't trust his eyes in this game. Like, look how hesitant he is there. How many times do we see Nakobe Dean sort this out and he shoots this gap and makes a play in the backfield? Here, he's just waiting until the guard climbs to him. And then he misses the tackle on top of it. And so it was just a game where things snowballed and went downhill everywhere for everybody. And Fangio got out coached. And that happens sometimes. Are you still here, Jonny? I saw you move for a second. Maybe not.
Am I still here? You tell me.
Yes, I heard that. Before you die again, what else do you want to mention?
All right, shall I just go in like half a second? I don't know why I didn't play Jahad Campbell. I don't know why I didn't just play a free, like 4-3 at times and get free linebackers on the field. I know it's not what they do, but when you're that bad, why the hell not? And we are not far away from having a serious Jalen Carter conversation this offseason, Shane. A big one. Yes. That contract is going to be fascinating because either he's just doing his own thing or some of the reps are really bad. If it was like a Jomo or something doing some of the stuff we'd seen on film, we'd be going, what is happening? Yeah, I wanted to highlight Nakobe Dean being bad, but you saw it. I think Dean is awesome. I don't think there's anything wrong with saying during a game, your head spinning, out you come. Nakobe Dean played every single snap and Jahad Campbell played 0. I find that utterly bemusing. Yeah, I don't really know what to say about that. Like his head was gone. He had no idea what he was seeing. So, and also like Byron Young played like 30 snaps and
38.
Ty Robinson must suck. he must add. Yeah. So I don't know what to say about the run D. I don't think we've seen Eagles beat. I don't think this is just a one-time thing. I think teams are going to look at what they did, and if I'm going against Eagles, I think we can run on them if we use motion. There was a really clever snap I wanted to show, and I don't know if I'll be able to. On my film thread, I'm probably not going to be able to get to it, am I? It was play, if you can, last thing when I'm out, if it lets me. Was it play 7? Trying to load it at the same time, which probably isn't great with internet problems.
Play 7's the one where Carter chased.
It was the one where I can't even load a Twitter thread, man. I can't even load a Twitter thread. It was one where Blankenship. No, was it?
Oh yeah, I know which one you're talking about. I can talk about it if you die.
Does here? Yeah, watch what the motion does to the safeties.
Yeah, it gets.
I think I may have died. Yeah, do you know what I mean? You talk about it because I'll probably die. You know exactly what I'm going to say. So you can take it from here.
Yeah, get out of here and I'll bring us home. So the one Johnny's talking about here.
Yeah, do it.
Ben Johnson knew exactly what the Eagles' responses were going to be. And so here they're showing single high safety with Reed Blankenship walk down into the box. And so they motion across the formation and that sends Reed Blankenship running backwards. And then they run it to his side. And so you've got a safety who was running backwards. Now all of a sudden has to put the brakes on and come back upfield to try to make a play. And so Ben Johnson put on a masterclass in this game. Can't give enough credit to him. I do want to shout out just a couple more quick plays here. And again, sorry for all the technical difficulties this week. But I want to shout out a couple more cool designs. This is another one, just run game creativity. This is what's missing in the Eagles run game. So you can see they're going to bring a jet motion here. And you have to respect it as the edge rusher because they've handed this off in the game. And so the edge rusher now realizes the jet motion guy doesn't have it, but he also has to be concerned about a bootleg because they've also faked this, bootlegged, and thrown it to this motion guy before. And so watch Jalix Hunt, who, again, I think played the best game for the Eagles in the defensive front. Watch his reaction, how slow he is, and the cutback lane that's created here because he's worried about so many different things. It's just such cool design. And you might say, like, the Eagles can't do that because they can't really do things under center. But it's not just out of under center that you can do that. You can do it out of shotgun too. They had a really cool shotgun run here where, 52 is going to block to the right and you get 73 pulling through the gap to wham block the other defensive tackle, and you've got 62 pulling to the next level. Like, so many, I mean, you guys are used to the pin pull stuff where we block it like this and we pull through, but they take it to a next level. They block here, and you get 62 pulling up to the next level. And so it's just really cool stuff in the run game. And 62 doesn't do a great job landing that block, but it's still a good run and a good play. And so there's so much cool run stuff that they can do that you definitely need to take a look at if you're the Eagles and try to build some of that out. One other cool play I want to shout out, and then one cool defensive performance, and then I'll get us out of here. But I just thought this was a really cool design, and ultimately Jalen Phillips tips the ball. But another just cool pass game thing. And so they motion a receiver into the backfield next to Caleb Williams. And then at the snap of the ball, he's going to insert through the opposite A-gap, right? So he's aligned to the left. He's going to insert through the right A-gap and then get out to the flat, where he's essentially being chased by a linebacker because of how the routes distribute. And if Caleb Williams is just like a quarterback that can throw a drag route, I guess it gets tipped, so maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should tamper my Caleb Williams slander here. But Jalen Phillips tips this one. But if he makes a good throw on the money, DJ Moore, receiver, is in a foot race against a linebacker to get to the edge and score a touchdown. So I thought that was just a really cool design. I'll run it through one more time so you can see without pausing it. But I thought that was an awesome design. You just don't see stuff like that from the Eagles often. And then I do want to shout out Jalix Hunt for just an awesome play. A lot of times you'll see a defensive lineman bat a ball down. You almost never see him complete the catch. And here he reads this out. He feels this screen a little bit, and he gets his hands up and tips this to himself and catches it. And that's such an athletic play. Now, I'm sure having safety in your background helps that a lot, but really cool play by Jalix Hunt. This was at a 1-point game in the third quarter. It's unfortunate, that the Eagles squandered that field position that he gave him, but I wanted to shout out Jalix Hunt, who I thought played a good game, interception aside, but that's an unreal play. So, and I guess I will leave it there for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this, technical difficulties aside. Try to remove the technical difficulties.
Just defend myself. Do I exist for a second?
Yes.
I have logged in to my online, and there is a problem at the hub. There is a genuine internet problem with my address. So I think it's a one-off. It's not like I shut the door or I haven't, or I left something plugged in. I'm now going to have to speak to an engineer, I think, for tomorrow. So that's good fun, isn't it? At least I found out now. I didn't realize it. I've noticed it with my preview and stuff this week. So yeah, apologies. Good fun. Luckily, Shane knows loads. Just God, I wanted to talk about run game more. So sad times. But there we go. I'm sure Shane hit it as good as I would have. But can we hire Ben Johnson?
I would love to.
Can we imagine watching that run game every week? My BGN articles would be like 5,000 words. It'd be great. Maybe it's good for actually my workload that we don't have Ben Johnson, because it's really easy to watch our offensive film. Really easy. So maybe it's good Ben Johnson isn't here.
Yeah, it was for sure a really cool game plan from Ben Johnson. So all the credit in the world to them. And yeah, like I was saying, apologies for the technical issues, but removing that, let us know what you guys think of the new format. We might try it again next week with better connectivity so we can dialogue a little more, because that's what I liked so much about last week, is we could just dialogue instead of running through canned points. But that's kind of what we have for this game. If you want more stuff, be sure you check out our Patreon. I've got a past game review up in there for this week. I think it was like 32 minutes long or something like that. And I went through 20 some odd plays, and I went a lot into the missed their down early in the game, which now we know for sure. I was speculating at the time what they thought was going to happen. Now we know for sure because of Hard Knocks. But there's a lot of good stuff in there. Eric is going to be working on a player spotlight later this week. Jonny will have his preview up. Eric also wrote an article about how to fix the Eagles offense if you want to check that out. So, thank you guys, all of you, for joining in here. Again, one more time, apologies for the technical issues, but hopefully if you're watching this on Patreon, I'll have those edited out. And if you are listening on podcast platforms, hopefully you will never notice. So that is going to do it for this one. Thank you guys for joining in. Keep it tuned here to the Eagles Pinpool Network for lots of more great content in the lead up to and aftermath of the Chargers game. And again, if you want more film content, check us out on Patreon at patreon.com/ontheshanepage. For me and for Jonny, I guess I could say anything I want because he's not here right now. But for me and Jonny, we will catch you guys next time. Go Birds.